Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. We have a delicious sheet pan meal for you. We are here with our cheesy chicken. Let me see. I can't say it fast. Our cheesy chicken bacon cheddar recipe for you today. And you try to say it fast too and see how good you do. This is a delicious sheet pan meal that you can have on a fabulous Sunday lunch. You can double it and feed a crowd or just half it and feed two people. It's easy and it tastes so good. We're excited to share it with you, so stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to get suited up here. This just uses some really basic, really simple ingredients, and I'm going to put a glove on so that because I can handle this chicken and not have to stop what I'm doing with you guys and wash my hands. So I have 4 chicken breasts here, boneless, skinless, and I have about a half a cup of honey mustard sauce. Now you can buy prepared honey mustard sauce or you can make your own. This is just 2 different kinds of prepared honey mustard that I had on hand and I just mixed them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take each chicken breast and just kind of roll it in it and place it on our sheet pan. Same thing over here. And look, I just touched it with my ungloved hand. So I'm going to have to wash my hands anyway. Best laid plans, right? So we want to try to put our chicken breast on one side of our sheet pan because we have some vegetables that we're going to cook over on the other side. And don't worry, we're going to be cooking all this at 375 degrees, so there's no chance of any kind of contamination from the chicken into the vegetables. So we've just about gotten all that honey mustard sauce covered on our chicken breast. And if you've ever cooked turkey or chicken with any kind of mustard, you know that this is a perfect and delicious way to season things up just by doing this simple step right here. All right, so I'm going to clean up my work area and wash my hands since I flubbed the dub over there and touch that raw chicken with my free hand. I should have put on 2 gloves, and that way if it happened, it happened. But nonetheless, safety first, which it's all going in the oven, so it's fine. But the main reason that I like to keep my hands clean is because salmonella can transfer to your work surface in your kitchen. So it's always best, even if you're handling things that are going on the same sheet pan and being cooked, that you do keep clean hands if you do touch it, because you don't want to touch any of your work surfaces after you've touched raw chicken. And that's just some food for thought. All right, so I have 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms and about a cup of sliced sweet onions. This is the yellow Vidalia onions. I really like using those for this recipe because this chicken ends up being sweet and savory, and the onions kind of just help that along. So we're going to add in some seasonings to our mushrooms and our onions here. We're going to add in about a teaspoon of garlic powder. And you can go heavy or you can go light. We're also going to add in a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. You could use oregano, basil, and parsley for this. Or you could just use one of those, whatever your taste preferences are. And then because this is kind of a sweet chicken, I always like adding in smoked paprika. It gives it color, it gives it a nice little flavor, and we're going to add in about a teaspoon of that. And I really like cooking with avocado oil because it doesn't have any taste whatsoever, and it can withstand high heat. So we're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of avocado oil on top of our mushrooms and our onions that we just seasoned. And then I'm going to give those a toss just so that we can get that seasoning and oil all mixed around and get everything nice and coated. Now there are two parts to this recipe. One is most of the cooking that we do, and then we're gonna kind of assemble these and top them with some cheese. So it's gonna be fantastic. So now on this other side of our sheet pan, I'm just going to put our onions and mushrooms in a single layer as best I can. And set my dishes to the side, and you have a nice one-pan sheet pan meal. We're going to cook this at 375 degrees for about 16 to 18 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll do some other things and show you how we finish them off. So stay tuned. Okay, we're back. We finished about actually an 18 to a 20-minute cook time on our chicken. Some of these chicken breast fillets are pretty thick. So I would always recommend that you have a really good, predictable internal temperature thermometer, and that you take the recommended cook time, take the chicken out, and for this recipe, as long as it's somewhere between 155 and 160, then we can continue on and proceed through the rest of the recipe. So we're going to show you now what we're about to do. What I have done is I have just taken my tongs and I have moved the mushrooms and the onions over here back into kind of a clump. Now I'm going to take my chicken, and I like to just flip it over because that bottom side is now the hot side, and we're going to move it toward the center. And don't worry if you've got cooking liquid down. I'm using parchment paper, but if you're not, you're not going to stick. It's going to be fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to assemble our chicken. So ahead of time, I have pre-cooked and drained 4 pieces of bacon. I reserved some of that honey mustard, just a little, maybe about 2 or 3 tablespoons of it. And then I have a half a cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. So we're going to layer these up and then pop them back in the oven for just a few minutes. So the first thing we do is we take 4 portions of that mushroom and onion mix and just pile it just over the top. And you can do a little at a time and come back and add some more. And if it falls off around it, that's okay too. Just as long as we get the majority of it on or right around each piece of chicken. And I'm going to space these out just a little bit more. Pick up some of that good stuff that fell off and put it back on the top. You know, it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to taste good. Now we do eat with our eyes first, so I do like a little prettier of a presentation, but if you don't always get it, you just don't always get it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to evenly distribute that cheddar cheese, the whole half a cup, between all 4 fillets. And again, just like with the vegetables, it doesn't matter if it falls over to the side. You want a nice little cheese curtain anyway. So it's all good. All good in the neighborhood. Now that reserved honey mustard that we took out before we covered our chicken in it, we're going to take just a little and put it right over the top, on top of the cheese. Because the chicken's already covered in it. And I got that long breast right there, so I'm going to kind of spread it out over across the top. And then this cooked bacon, and you can take it and half it and lay it on the top like that, or you could actually crumble it up if you wanted to. But I like just taking it and just laying it right across the top because it kind of sticks to the honey mustard that we just put on there. And the bacon, I cooked it this morning early, so it will actually kind of heat back up with what we're about to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place these back in that 375-degree oven for about 3 to 5 minutes, just until that cheese gets nice and melty and makes like that cheese curtain all around the chicken. So stay with us, we'll be right back. Okay, we finished just about, 3 to 5 minutes in the oven, and then we've allowed the chicken just to rest. Allowing that chicken just to rest holds all those juices in and keeps the chicken nice and moist. And can we just talk about how beautiful it is? And I've already put me one on a plate so that I can cut me off a little piece. And hopefully it won't be too hot. But this one's got some onions on it, and I'm gonna pick up some mushroom. I'll save that bacon just because it's just way too pretty. And I did garnish mine with just a little bit of parsley just because I like just the added green there. But gosh, that chicken, I could have probably cut it with my fork. It's that tender and and it smells divine in here. So let's give it a taste. Perfectly cooked, juicy, tender, done all the way through. And you notice, like, those vegetables, the seasoning on those complements that honey mustard, and it all works together just to be this really beautiful thing. Now the bacon, I didn't need to taste the bacon because, I ate some this morning whenever we cooked this, so I knew it was good. But the smokiness of the bacon combined with all of those flavors that we added to the mushrooms and onions and the honey mustard that we coated the chicken in, and adding that in along with that salty and sharp cheddar cheese is just a flavor explosion. Easy weeknight or fancy Sunday dinner meal. This recipe is easily halved. It's easily doubled, and it's with pantry staple ingredients, right? What more could you ask for? It's fancy. It looks pretty. The presentation alone is just enough just to make your mouth water, I think. And all of the flavors, of course, are just fantastic. And it's a sheet pan meal. Very little cleanup. I moved everything to a pretty platter just because I like the way it looks. And if I'm gonna do all this, I'm gonna fancy pants it up just a little bit, and you can too. It's inexpensive and delicious. What more can you ask for? This recipe, like all of our others, can be found over at thebutteredhome.com. We would be so honored if you gave us a visit there. One of the best ways that you can support me and other creators is by visiting their websites. You can get this recipe there for free and also sign up for our free weekly newsletter while you're there and get a free copy of a digital cookbook as well. Also, make sure you're following us on all of our social channels. We have a really good time. We never know when we're gonna pop in, and you don't wanna miss a thing because we do lots of fun stuff, and I act silly and make a mess, and what more could you ask for? If you do want all of our videos in one convenient place, make sure that you head over to YouTube, search for The Buttered Home, and when you find us, hit that subscribe button and ding the bell so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. Okay, Big D's been waiting on this one for a while, so I'm not gonna make him wait any longer. It's rested and it's nice, and I've taken pictures of it, so now he can eat it and enjoy it, and so can I. And we hope that you will too. From all of us here at The Buttered Home to your home, we sure love y'all. Bye.